Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow, and today I'm going to do something a little different because I'm going to be showing you and sharing with you what I overall plan to do at the peak of this next bull market, and hopefully it'll help you kind of lay a foundation for your future, your children's future, and beyond. I'm just here to plant a seed. This video is going to be kind of quick, so if you like the video, hit the subscribe, all notifications, hit the like, and leave a comment. Ask me questions about this, and I'll keep going with future content. But right now, we're going to explain how to turn about $9,000 into over $1.5 million. And I know it sounds insane, but if you watch my channel, you know there's probably some truth to it, so keep watching. Here we go. One of the things I'm going to focus on is Cardano. I'm focusing on Cardano because, you probably know if you've watched me for a while, I believe the most in Cardano outside of just about everything else on the interwebs. Its original all-time high was $1.33 back in January 4th of 2018. And then, of course, it came down, like everything else in the crypto market, basically came down to a low of just under 2 cents in October. October 2017 was its low, but during the bear market, it actually came back down to around 2 cents, okay? So people accumulated, and at one point you could buy over 400,000 Cardano with just one Bitcoin. That's the spread. Now it's somewhere around 130,000 for one Bitcoin. Now, for about $9,000, you could get about 100,000 Cardano, okay? So I'm basing this whole video off of investing in something in the cryptocurrency market and then taking the profits from that investment at the peak of the market and putting it into something more tangible, all right? And then rinse and repeat through the next cycles, okay? But here we go. So $9,000 is going to get you about 100,000 Cardano or ADA. You'll be able to stake those and generate roughly 5% return annually. But we're not even calculating that into this equation. This is all going to be base figures, base numbers, okay? All right, so let's say we do that, and at the peak of the market, it were to only reach $1.50, okay? Keep in mind, original all-time high of $1.33 was when Cardano was still just an idea and a white paper and a crappy wallet. They didn't have Shelly. There was no staking. Half the circulating market supply wasn't locked up in staking nodes. I mean, I believe it could go $3 to $5, as you've seen in my prediction videos. It could go even higher. And if they ever reach their $1 trillion market cap goal at some point in the future, you're looking at a potentially $32 Cardano. But that's not going to happen by the peak of this market. So I'm looking to take profit and put it into something else that's going to generate positive cash flow during the next bear market. So I'm not broke, sitting around wondering where my next dollar's coming from for 2 to 3 years. So now, if we do that, we're ultimately looking at about $150,000, okay, off a $9,000 investment today. So investing $9,000 today, potentially I can make $150,000 profit by the peak of the next bull market. Possibly even more. We could even potentially double that. If we got a $3 Cardano, which I believe is truly possible, we're looking at $300,000, so we can just double the figures in this video. Now, $150,000 is actually what we're looking at as a purchase price on a real estate investment property. However, you're not going to need to use that $150,000. You're only going to need 20% down. So you put 20% down on a $150,000 real estate property or an investment property, and you're actually able to buy 5 of these investment properties with $150,000 because you're just putting the 20% down. So you're looking at like a $30,000 down payment. Now, if we go to average mortgage interest rates right now, in 2020, the average interest rate is 3.72%. But we're going to average this out to about 4% because maybe your credit's not super great, but it's not terrible. But we're just going to say we're going to find you a 4% interest rate. And we're going into a 30-year term. Now, closing costs, roughly $3,000. Some mortgage lenders are going to say, well, we guarantee to get these loans done, and we're going to get them done quicker than anybody else, but their costs are going to be much higher. some places will basically explain that they can get it done with the lowest interest rate possible and the lowest closing costs. Some places will say, oh, we'll do $500 closing costs and things like that. But they'll take months to get your loan done. So it's kind of a give and take. Do you want it done quickly? Do you want it done at the lowest possible price? In some cases, if you need to get a deal done quickly, then, do what you need to do. But ultimately, we're looking at roughly around $3,000 in closing costs. For this particular property as a model, if we go and we look up some other similar properties, like this is a property right now, it's renting for it's on the market for $1,450 a month. 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath in Walton, Kentucky. Hi, Kimberly. I actually know Kimberly Stallsworth. And then we're going to go down here a little further. We're going to see that the house originally sold in 2017 for $157,400. Okay. Now, that's up quite a bit from when it was sold for $58,000 just a year before, which is crazy. I don't know if that was a family deal or how that worked, or maybe that was maybe somebody bought the land and then built the house on it. I'm not sure exactly how that worked. But property taxes for this bad boy as of 2019 were $2,598 a year. That's actually really high. And your property taxes are going to really depend on the market you're living in, the neighborhood, the city, all of that stuff. So there are a lot of variables to that. So for property taxes, we're actually basically putting $2,600 a year annually. Okay, so we're just going to match this for now, and we're going to go on the high end, even though the majority of properties you're going to find are not going to have property taxes that are that high. However, some states, depending on where you're at, like in Kentucky, property taxes are handled a lot differently. In other states, your property taxes are significantly lower, but you have other costs like tags and title on your car are much more expensive and things that. So there are so many different variables. So this is just to get you thinking, okay? Now, HOA fee, you're likely not going to have one. We're throwing $1,000 in annual repair costs or upkeep or maintenance. Something breaks. Oh, my sink is broken. Oh, my shower doesn't work. Whatever. So we're throwing $1,000 in there plus $200 in just ancillary expenses. Who knows? Whatever's going to happen. Monthly rent of $1,450 with an annual increase of 3%. Every year the rent's likely going to go up about 3%. And you're going to be entitled to do that. Vacancy rate, we're going to calculate at about 5% on average. Maybe over the course of a year, you don't have a vacancy. But then maybe in year 2 or year 3, maybe you're vacant for a few months because you got it on the market because your old tenants moved out, so forth and so on. So we're just kind of averaging that down. And then this is your management fee. Now, if you've only got like 5 properties, you're probably not going to hire a property management firm, so you're going to save this 10%, which is actually pretty significant in the grand scheme of things. But let's say you made $1 million in the crypto market and you want to put it all to work in real estate investment. You want to try and generate about $15,000 a month in positive cash flow. You could do that, but you're also probably going to use a property management firm to handle all of your woes in the meantime. Property management firms typically charge between 8 and 12%, so you could probably negotiate with some, and you're going to want to try and find one with a really solid reputation, somebody that you can trust. Now, some people say, you know what, I don't even need a property management firm. I'm just going to utilize a contractor. And so I'm going to save that 10% a month, but I'm going to find a contractor that I trust, and anytime any of my tenants have a problem, they're just going to call the contractor directly. He's going to handle it and send me a bill. And that is just going to go into your overall maintenance expenses per property, and you're still going to save your 10%. So that could be a really wise decision as well. It just depends on your relationship with the contractor. Now, value of appreciation, you're looking at about 3% average appreciation over time of the property, but you're also only planning on holding this property for 20 years in general. And then your cost to sell, we're marking it at 6%. 6% is because you're going to use a real estate broker, a real estate agent to sell the property. You're going to pay them 3%, and then you're going to pay the buy side 3%, because you're typically going to have 2 agents on a deal, the one that's listing it and marketing it to sell it, and then the buyer side representation, which is going to be handling your buyer, and that agent's also going to make 3%. So you're going to figure that out to be about 6%. So now that we've worked all that out, we're going to calculate. So here we have the calculation as to the general return. Total profit when you've sold the property after 20 years is going to be around $303,000, okay? So it's a pretty significant return. When you're taking into account the fact that the property's value is rising while you're paying down the mortgage, the principal is going down, and then you sell the property, you're making all that money back, plus all the rental income, It's a really solid way of generating positive cash flow and growing kind of a small real estate empire. Now, cash on cash return 920%. Remember, you bought this property for 20% down. You basically said, here's 30 grand. I'm going to make $303,000 roughly on this property over a 20-year term. Capitalization rate of 6.87 or 6.85% with your total rental income around almost $400,000. Total expenses, total mortgage payments $137,000, total expenses $123,000. Your total net operating income $276,000. Now, here's where we're getting silly. You're talking about $1,450 a month in rental. Your rental fee. Your mortgage is costing you $572. You're averaging 5%, so you're taking out $7,250 a month on average for vacancy in the property. Your management fee, again, this is optional, and this is going to be a pretty big difference because right now, after all these expenses, all these possible expenses, you're looking at $283 a month. However, if I take that $283 and then I add the property management fee of $137.75, we're looking at $420 a month in positive cash flow from one property. All right, so you multiply that by 5 and you're talking $2,100 a month in positive cash flow from buying 5 properties and renting them out along these price points. So this is a surefire thing. So basically, you're taking your total profit sold of $303,000. You're going to take 300 and let's just 303,727. We're going to multiply that by 5. You made $1.518 million off of a $9,000 investment. Now, granted, that's over the course of 20 years, okay? So this is something that you're basically laying down as it's for you. You've got the positive cash flow every month, and on top of that, if you wanted to continue growing this, you could continue taking what you're making every month, save that as another down payment, and another down payment, and just continue growing. And you know what? Take your kids and teach them the same business so they could take this over someday and really start generating generational wealth. And this is an opportunity to make $1.5 million over 20 years for yourself and your family based off a $9,000 early crypto investment at the very start of a bull market. So overall, and there are a lot of other variables in here. You've got your property tax, which again, I said was really high, $216. That's pretty high property tax. Again, that's going to be dependent on where you are and what property taxes are in your state or your city. Your total insurance, that's your homeowner's insurance, which you're going to have if you have a mortgage out on the property. Your maintenance cost, again, that's kind of an average. Other costs, another average. So overall, I mean, you could be doing potentially $500 to $600 a month in positive cash flow, but you're going to want to be putting you're going to be putting some of this money aside for expenses that you're not counting on happening. You know, a water line bursts, the sewage backs up, like whatever. You're going to have issues. The more properties you have, the more likely you're going to have one or two every once in a while that goes bad and you need to fix something. So you need to take all these numbers into account. But overall, this is, to me, a very solid plan. And I've got plans myself to get into real estate investment at the peak of this market, because ultimately what could happen is, as I'm generating this positive cash flow during the bear market, if some of that money I'm able to use and put back into the crypto market when everything bottoms out yet again, which it likely will, likely 80 to 90% from the top. We'll see where that is. But ultimately, it's going to give you positive cash flow that you can live on. And the idea is, look, the more you can make in the crypto market, to me, it's not just about investing in crypto. It's about enhancing my life. It's about building something for my family, for my children. I'm thinking long term, and I'm not afraid of long term holds because I haven't sold any of the crypto I bought 3 years ago. I'm waiting for that cream to rise to the top at the peak of the bull market so that I can exit some of those positions and get into some more tangible assets and some more tangible investment opportunities such as real estate. Now, the other side to this is a lot of people are saying that they're not expecting the housing market to crash. Well, I am. And my wife's a real estate broker. I came from the mortgage industry before I got into crypto. And a lot of these forbearance deals that are getting passed around with this like CARE Act, people that are struggling to make their mortgage payments during the COVID crisis, A lot of these people don't seem to realize that there's going to be a balloon payment due. And when that comes due and they don't have the funds to pay that, it's going to be foreclosure city. And unless the government or somebody bails out these banks and says, just forgive this and we're going to start fresh, which I don't see happening, a lot of people are going to be foreclosing on their properties, which means you're going to get a $150,000 property for maybe $125,000 or less, and you're going to get an even better deal. And I'm honestly, as sad as it sounds, and I don't mean to sound insensitive, but I'm planning to capitalize on that very fact because I do see that coming, and it may start really kicking in maybe a year from now, and it might last a couple years. So if it does, when I'm exiting my bull market positions in crypto and I've got all this capital, I'm looking to put that capital to work and ultimately reduce the number of the amount of taxes I'm paying on the income I made in the crypto market, right? So it's one hand helping the other, and so on. Talk to your tax accountant, put together a plan, talk to your real estate agent, talk to your real estate broker, talk to the professionals that are handling your affairs, and put together a plan on what you're going to be doing. This is definitely one idea I want you to start thinking about and researching further. Any questions that you have, please like the video, subscribe, hit the all notification bell, and leave a comment. What do you think of this strategy? Is it viable? Is it something you're looking forward to yourself? Is this something you've been planning on doing? And do you have questions? Because I'm going to be continuing. Look, I'm reading all these books right now. I'm reading all this stuff and I'm watching a million videos. I'm learning about the difference between residential investment property compared to commercial real estate property and the ins and outs of all of it. And if you've got questions, I'm happy to look them up and share some of what I find in a new video moving forward, or multiple videos. So let me know what you think. Until next time, guys, grow your coins. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again real soon.